top floor, tips from the top, alright, from the top floor.
And once you understand that, then the only thing you need to do is you need to decide where you want to place your camera. Maybe you want to place the camera here, maybe you want to place the camera there, and that will depend on how the light bounces off the subject. So they break the whole topic of lighting down into a number of family of angles, because that will depend on where the light is, and that will depend on the on what you're shooting. If you're shooting metal, or if you're shooting, let's say, leather, or if you're shooting somebody, if you're doing a portrait, the light will bounce in different way. But once you've understood these basic family of angles, then the great thing is you can take any subject and you can actually apply this principle to, oh, there it is. No, that's not the right one. That's the old edition.
Does that book also go into detail on different kinds of surfaces? Because the way a surface is made up, if it's a soft surface, if it's a shiny surface, like if you shoot a car or if you shoot a puppy, those will have different surfaces. Exactly, and that's something that is very, very difficult to understand. If you like watch some pictures, that's one of the difficulty when you're trying to learn lighting is if you start from some existing picture and you're being explained how they were shot, and you try to redo the same picture yourself, you may use a different different background, and therefore the background will be shiny whereas the original wasn't, and you don't understand why it doesn't work. In light science and magic, because they teach you about the law of physics, how light bounces off a surface, they of course tell you that the two key things are where your light is and what is the surface. What is it that you're aiming the light at? Is it shiny? How it behaves, basically. And once you understand that, it becomes a very simple decision process where you only need to say, okay, I want this particular effect. For example, if you're shooting, let's say, I'm looking at my MacBook Pro right now, which is a very shiny metallic surface. If I want the surface to be very shiny and metallic, then I know that the light must be at a certain angle compared to where the camera is, and they have a specific family of angle to have the metal very shiny. But if I look at the same MacBook Pro and I don't want it to be shiny, then it just means I need to place my camera elsewhere than in this family of angle. And the good thing is they explain that, and they show you that through so many examples that you very quickly understand the process. And the great thing is, again, once you've learned that, you can apply that with any kind of gear in any situation. They teach you about studio lights, but if you want to use it with strobes, small strobes that you take with you, strobist side, it works. Even if you want to go outside and you want to shoot outside, or if you use a reflector, if you have any means of directing the light.
Exactly. Well, any means of directing the light, or any means of moving your subject, because maybe what you want to do is actually move the subject,
right?
Or you want to move the camera. If you can't move the light.
What have you done to light yourself for this video shoot?
Sorry?
What have you done to light yourself for the video?
Oh, I didn't do anything, I confess. I just turned on the...
It looks nice. Good definition on your face, light coming from the right, a bit of shadow on the left.
Well, I did nothing. I just turned on the light in my office.
Which
I'm seeing Rembrandt light here.
It's a bit of Rembrandt lighting, yes? Actually it is, yeah. It's the way the shadow of the nose falls. And
yeah, what I did is when I set up the office, I first thought, how to light the office so it would look good. No, I'm just making this up. It's just a lucky coincidence.
Okay.
So, how are we doing with time?
I think you can go a bit more, or we can just hop over to Martin. I have no idea. Oh, no, Martin said printing, right?
Martin?
He's fallen asleep.
Can't hear him right now. Are you on mute, Martin?
I was.
Oh, now you are not. Okay.
So you know what? I've been having a lot of problems with my my site providers recently, and I've just, I can't believe I'm sitting here live on TWiT TV, and all of my sites are down. So I've been frantically trying to get someone on board to sort out my websites, but to no avail.
Don't look at mine.
So you want me to talk about my topic now?
Yeah, you said you were going to talk about printing.
I am. So my basic thing, I think I've even spoken about printing on the focus ring before on a round table in the past, but I love it. I can't get enough of printing, and it's just getting better and better because I don't know what it is. I think that part of it is because a lot of the companies that used to create papers for the real world, other than the digital world, have all started to try to figure out how they can capitalize on the new digital age, or they're obviously they're losing custom. People are not buying paper as much as they were, and if it was a company that made photographic paper, obviously people are shooting digitally. People aren't just going into the darkroom anywhere near as much as they used to. So a lot of companies are putting a lot of effort into creating really, really good papers. And, so I'm just being fired up by this all of the time. And I figured that I'd talk a little bit about it because I know that a lot of people have problems printing. It seems to be one of those things about digital photography that people just, they can't quite get their head around. And yet, to me, it's the easiest thing in the world. And I'm not being big-headed or trying to be sort of, saying that there's anything special about what I do. But I did want to just make a couple of obvious comments that, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you've got, unless you're using, say, you've got a Canon or an Epson printer and you install the drivers and you only ever use the Canon or Epson papers, then, in that case, you're probably fine because you've got all of your ICC profiles already loaded. But the best thing to remember is that you've always got to make sure that you've got the correct profile for your paper and printer combination. And even if you're only using Epson or Canon papers on an Epson or Canon printer, or HP or whatever, then even if you're doing that, if you're printing from something like Lightroom, then you want to make sure that you go in, select the correct profile for that printer and paper, and then make sure that in the printer driver, you turn off the printer management, the color management from the printer. You don't let the printer driver do anything, because especially if you're working with, printers and papers, and you're managing that from Lightroom, say, or Photoshop, or whatever you use, then you're definitely going to mix things. You're going to mix things up if you start to let the printer do that as well. So just turn off those things in the printer driver. Select them yourself. Make sure that you can get the profile for any new any paper that you get. I generally try to go online and find the profiles for papers that I'm thinking of buying before I buy them.
Right, and the reason you need those profiles is because every paper has a different. Needs different things from the printer. Needs different amounts of ink for every paper. Basically, has its own color. In the printing world, paper is called the fifth color because it might have it might be a bit warmer, a bit cooler, a bit whiter, a bit bluer, a bit yellowisher. So the printer driver will have to make up for that, and then different surfaces require different amounts of things and drying times and all these kind of things. And that's what the profile is needed for, so that the printer knows how to handle this specific kind of paper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So Martin, have you tried profiling a printer yourself yet with any of these printer profiling tools?
I haven't, and the reason for that is because I love printing so much, I don't want to make it a chore. And I know that if I try new papers and I have to print out things and then I have to go and scan them in, and I'm sort of, I'm forever trying to recreate profiles as my printer changes and stuff. I just don't want to get into it. And the other reason for that is because that I'm not doing it is because I'm getting excellent results with the profiles that the manufacturers create. So it's one of those if it ain't broke, don't fix it sort of thing.
I remember